Carson, Leno, Fallon. Now, it's Wine Talks with Paul K.
Hey, welcome to Wine Talks with Paul K. And we are in studio today, about to have a conversation with Lucia Palm. Introductions in just a moment. Wine Talks, of course, available on iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, wherever you hang out for podcasting. Hey, have a listen to a release I just did with Rodolphe Frangin Taittinger. Yes, of the famed family Taittinger, except a different arm. And they are responsible for an incredibly boutique champagne, as well as the latest craze, French Bloom, which is a non-alcoholic champagne. Have a listen to that. Very interesting stuff. Young man. And also Yves de Launay. He is a specialist in luxury goods, having worked for Sotheby's, Cartier, sold Louis XIII cognac, and now is with Chateau Cheval Blanc. Incredible conversation with him because he's got his fingers in all these areas of luxury, which we all want to do. But now while we're here today, we're here to have a conversation with Lucia Palm, wine content creator, as well as wine educator. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Thank you. We reached out to you last year, and we dropped the ball, I guess.
Yeah. So it's all coming full circle.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, cool. when I had the staff, we had our own content creator. We had our own. I was like talent, right?
Yeah.
I used to like that moniker.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the talent shows up on the set, he does
I like
his job.
the sound of that too.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you leave, and then they do all the work.
Yeah. That's what I'm reaching for.
Okay, good. Because now I'm doing the work. So, and it was so fun to learn about you because we have a relationship between a real estate agent, a guy named Kent, who texts me, goes, "Do you know this woman?" I look your stuff up. I'm like, "No, but she's local." And nice to have you here.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You've lived in LA all your life?
Pretty much, yeah. I have lived in Miami and New York and Napa for a bit as well.
But you were born here?
I was born here, yeah. South Pasadena, super
South
close,
Pass?
Yeah.
You haven't traveled too far.
No, it's again full circle.
Yeah, right.
Back here.
What were you doing in Miami? Miami.
Hospitality school, but
really,
Miami wasn't for me. I love to visit.
Florida, Florida's an interesting place.
Yeah.
We did a little Florida, West Palm Beach, Daytona, Amelia Island, and then we ended up in Savannah, Georgia. Yeah, we enjoyed it, but...
Oh, I heard Savannah has great food.
It does have good food.
That's on the list for sure.
Yes,
yeah.
Definitely. You need to do that.
Yeah.
So, but you went to hospitality school there? Mm-hmm. Which one was that?
FIU. So I guess...
Hey, watch what you say on the show.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
I was like, okay, now I get it, yeah.
But hospitality is an interesting, broad spectrum thing. Do you think wine is clustered in that idea of hospitality?
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because I took a wine class in culinary school, that's what got me to want to do hospitality.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
What do they teach you in a wine class at culinary school?
You come in at 12 o'clock, you drink a lot of wine, and it's fun. But yeah, they were teaching us about varietals, how it's made, like what wine grows where, all that stuff.
Not knowing the complexion of the rest of the students, you didn't go there for that. If you're not interested, if you're really not interested in wine and you go there to learn how to cook or understand how to run a restaurant or a hotel, are you paying attention?
If you're not interested, maybe, I think so. I mean, if you're young,
if you want to learn something, I guess.
I have to say, though, people who went to culinary school, we all obviously love food a lot. And I believe that food and wine go together. So I didn't actually meet anyone that didn't like that wine class. Everyone loved it.
Well, you come out with a 14% buzz going on.
That wasn't bad. I was like 21. I didn't mind that.
Yeah, wine does go with food. We'll talk about that in a little bit because, your call tag is Lucia Loves Food LA, right?
Lucia Loves Wine. But it was Lucy Loves Food back in the day when I was doing my recipes. I don't know, maybe that should be my new name.
Yeah, maybe we should do a comment.
Yeah.
So you get piqued about wine in school. Did you come back to LA after that?
I did, yeah, for a little bit. And then went to Miami, left Miami, came back to LA for a little bit, and then moved to Napa.
What did you do in
Napa?
For
a little bit. I was working at a 3 Michelin star restaurant called the Restaurant Meadowood.
Oh, Meadowood, yeah, wow.
You been?
Yes, when I was younger. I haven't been, burned.
I know.
During the fire. And what were you doing
sad.
there? Is that now? I'm going to assume that your hospitality training at school was part of that reason.
Exactly. And everyone has to start from the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So I started as a food runner, but even then, being a food runner there is like being a server at a Michelin star restaurant. I mean, 3 Michelin stars is just no joke.
Isn't that interesting though? And I wonder how your education prepared you for that, because clearly my daughter's a French trained boulangère. She
Oh,
went
wonderful.
to pastry school in France.
Fabulous.
And
Yeah.
she worked for Alain Ducasse.
Very cool.
My friends are going to say, "Why did you say that again? It sounds like you only have one daughter." And I'm like, "Well, she's the only one that's in the trade." But the point I'm going to make is, the way they kept their kitchens in France and the way she was trained to keep her kitchen.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
I used to tell her all the time: you got to keep the kitchen clean when you're cooking at the house, but she never did. And now she does.
Yes.
And that level of service requirement is so different
Absolutely.
than what you experience every day. Mm-hmm. Does that bother you when you go into a restaurant and go, "Oh my God, these people don't know what they're doing"?
I used to be like that, but I feel like I've been deprogrammed a little bit. 'Cause
really?
It's been a while since I worked at a Michelin star restaurant. Yeah,
It's pretty obvious, huh?
it is. Yeah.
Like I wonder what's going on these days. Like why you don't see it.
I know. I think COVID had something to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I heard too that there's not that many sommeliers anymore. Like
Well,
restaurants aren't hiring them.
they're not hiring them.
No.
Everybody's a som these days.
Yeah.
Like what is a som?
I call
What do you define that? That's a good question. What do you call them?
I actually Googled it.
Oh, did you?
I did. And Google said, and other wine experts have said, a sommelier is someone who works in a restaurant and has helped guiding the experience
Right.
and knows a lot about wine. I agree with that, but I also think you can be a somm if you are certified. I do think you need to be certified,
Mm-hmm.
either through WSET or Court of Masters, which I did. So as long as you are certified and you are teaching about wine still, I think you're a somm, which is why I still call myself a certified sommelier, and I consider myself one. Yeah.
I saw that on your credentials,
Mm-hmm.
and so here's a guy. He's 65 years old. There really wasn't the court. The court was was in the late 80s. It started, I think, in L.A. And I've had this is gonna be an interesting part of the conversation.
Yeah.
I think I agree with you. I think the WSET, Court of Somms, the Master of Wine, and what other accolade-able schools are out there to learn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, certainly, if you read through the hundreds of books I have here, you'd be as knowledgeable, if not more, than most somms.
Yeah.
Or if you had if a somm had even a chance to taste 10% of what I tasted in my career, because I've tasted 100,000 wines,
Wow.
you'd feel like you got to figure it out. But it really does come down to being in the streets.
It does. At least working. I also think you should work in a restaurant in some
I
capacity.
think you have to.
Yeah. I
Isn't that part of what hospitality is? And if we're going to merge
Absolutely.
the two together,
Absolutely.
it's like listen to a customer going. Well, here's a funny story. I just did Frederick Ryan, who's the preeminent authority on wine in the White House. Amazing
very
book.
cool.
It just came out, so
Okay.
it's called Wine in the White House.
Keep my eye out.
And he tells a story about taking a sorority girl on a date back in the 80s, and he orders a Sauterne and insists with the somm telling him, "Look, sir, I don't think you want this," because they ordered prime rib. And the somm's like, and he's like, "No, you don't understand. I drink this Chateau d'Arche all the time." And the guy's like, "Okay." So he brings his half bottle of, Sauterne, which is sweet wine, of course, and he looked like an idiot.
Not the best pairing.
So you think that worked?
Yeah.
But so I suppose in that case, the somm, that was his job.
Yeah.
So I think the academia of that is very important.
Absolutely.
But the hospitality side just comes from standing on your feet.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that I wonder, and I wonder why there's not as much. With your ear to the ground, have you heard what restaurants are doing, why they're doing it?
I think again, COVID just, messed up a lot of people's finances, and I think a lot of restaurants are struggling. They just can't afford it.
I think that's the case too, and they add to the responsibility. If you are a somm, you're also the GM, or you're also the
Exactly.
right.
And a lot of somms aren't okay with that, and they shouldn't be.
Well, why did we have an ego?
not an ego. It's just, I think that's a lot. It's already a lot to be a sommelier on the
Yeah.
floor, and they're already helping out the servers as well. And then to act as a GM, and then sometimes even a bartender is just too much, I think.
You know, when we were here for all these years, I would only taste on Tuesdays, 9 to
Okay.
2. And I had a calendar online,
Yeah.
you can book it. Because otherwise I would, speaking about being a GM or a wine buyer or som as buying wine for a restaurant, I mean, you'd be inundated by salespeople. Every day they'd be coming by,
Oh, yeah. Of
trying
course.
to hustle you.
Yeah.
And you could never get anything done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's impossible. But then you still go to these restaurants that have these giant lists,
Mm-hmm.
which would be very difficult to manage, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So when you left the Meadowood, what were you doing? Were you still running, or?
When I left, I went back to LA again and then decided I wanted to move to New York. So I actually applied to the Nomad, and they've also closed.
They what?
They've also
They closed. I know.
Yeah.
They did.
I'm like, which is
Would
sad.
they close when you were
but-
there, like because you were there? No,
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
kidding.
right. They closed it during the pandemic, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but I applied there, and then I
you
worked my
work?
way up to being a server,
Oh, great.
and I got to work with just some of the best sommeliers ever, and they would
Why is that? Why do you call them the best?
I just think that they embodied that perfect like passion meets approachable.
Mhm.
I didn't think that they were snobby. They were the best to me too, because before I became certified, they invited me to go to their blind tastings every Tuesday, actually. And that meant the world to me. That's some of the best times I've had was doing that with them. I just think they're wonderful. Yeah. And then one of them actually became my mentor, and he helped me become certified, because also through the Court of Masters, if you want to become certified through the Court of Masters, you have to work in a restaurant, absolutely. And I believe you need a strong mentor who's going to go through that service with you in tastings, which he did. So
So if I'm a listener to this, and I hear, there's a young lady on a show, and she was in hospitality, and it's almost like, the TV chef, right? Oh, I want to be a chef because I can be on TV and I'm going to be all this accolades. And it really isn't that way, right?
yeah,
And that really kind of starts with what you said. I think the passion of trying to do this and wanting to do this
exactly.
I'm assuming then you would agree that the hours
Yeah.
in the study are all about passion.
Absolutely. I mean, even though they weren't like in the back of the house, the people who worked in the front of the house, especially at the Michelin and 3 Michelin star restaurants, they were crazy passionate about food. Like they knew so much about food like I did. And they even went to culinary school. In fact, one of the sommeliers that the Nomad went to the same culinary school as I did. So yeah, you just need to love that
You
a
have to love
lot.
it.
Yeah.
Because the pay isn't that great.
Yeah. No, it's not.
I mean, generally. know-
Yeah, even then, I think that they should be getting paid more.
You're probably too young to know, but even in the 90s, there's that 6-digit job in Vegas, and all you did was the som work.
Oh, okay.
You got that fancy restaurant,
Yeah.
you bought and sold, and you were making really good money because there was really good money out there.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That's changed.
Yeah,
That's changed
absolutely.
a lot.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about the passion part of this. Food is passion too, isn't it? Isn't working the line isn't
absolutely.
that just passion? Working the hospitality side.
It is. Yeah. All of it.
I don't know if you know this. I like telling the story on the show, but the Michelin Guide was started in like 1929. It's a purpose, and when you think about it, Michelin, which is a tire company,
Yeah.
wanted you to drive your car, so they didn't review restaurants inside Paris. They only did the rural restaurants.
Yeah.
So you drive your car to go there.
It's funny. I know.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, it's funny how it started.
And it's pretty important, though. Do you think?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, to a restaurant to try and earn that.
I think so. I think it's still important.
Was that something that was said, with the pre-dinner where you're going over the covers and everything? Did they talk about like, we got to make, you never know?
They didn't, but I think because pre-shifts were so exact, like we had to know, they would test us on what ingredient was in a dish, and they just made sure that we were at that level, essentially. Either going in or like while you're there. Yeah.
And did you have to learn then a different type of wine service than you learned at Som School? Like sort of like the real world part of this?
I would say it was pretty similar.
Really?
Honestly. Yeah, it was.
So what would you do if you walked up to the table and said, "Oh yeah, I would like a quail, ragu."
It's been a while. I mean, they taught us to definitely offer something to pair with it. So I would say, we have a nice dolcetto that would be excellent with that if you're interested, and then just talk about why the pairing works. Yeah, because the servers still had to know a lot about wine, because we might not have been pouring the bottles at the table, but we were still selling it. And we were still pouring the wine when they ordered by the glass and talking about the pairings, and that they did tasting menus. It was even more extensive. Yeah.
Because there's a certain, it's not even a rumor, I don't think. It's more of a direction of the experiential part of wine coming back. In other words, the internet sales part of it has kind of run its course and running its course, where people are like, oh my gosh, I'm tired of the ratings. I'm tired of seeing a 25% discount, a 50% discount. A lot of the flash wine sales sites are struggling to find inventory because there isn't flash stuff around anymore. And really it's coming back to this experience at a restaurant where somebody's talking to you about it.
Yeah.
And so is that kind of what you bring to your social, so what's the handle again for Instagram?
Oh, Lucia Loves Wine.
Lucia Loves Wine. Is that Facebook also?
Facebook, TikTok, yeah.
LinkedIn?
LinkedIn, yeah. I'm not on there much, but
No, are you?
No.
Do you have 120,000 followers, which is pretty formidable. And you made an interesting comment about the algorithm that merged you with Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, and all of a sudden there was this relationship built and you had this jump in followers.
Yeah.
So what do you do to engage your group, and who are we talking to? Do you know?
Well, a lot of these videos that went viral were Trader Joe's wines that I recommended. So it gives me a good grasp about like who's buying that. But the thing is, a lot of people go to Trader Joe's. And I think one of the reasons it went viral is because people love Trader Joe's, but also because it was a wine that was accessible to the masses, which is what I've spent a lot of time focusing on. Although moving forward, I will be doing my Trader Joe's videos, but just not as often, because there's so many other wines out there that are very affordable and very good.
And where are you going to find those?
I would actually like to start promoting mom and pop shops here in LA. I want to focus more on having that like Los Angeles sommelier wine brand. I don't even know if people know I live in Los Angeles, so I've been blessed with a beautiful backyard. Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of like pool and going on picnics and just visiting mom and pop places, even restaurants where I'm impressed by their wine list, and they're like fun and approachable too, nothing too stuffy.
Do you do that when you go to a restaurant? Kind of go. I mean, obviously, after my tenure, I can look at a list and go, Southern owns this list, or Young's Market owns this list, or
That's good, yeah.
in some cases, for the listeners, some lists are dominated by certain suppliers because they'll pay the restaurant to print the list. But do you look at the list and kind of go, you get a pretty good grasp of what's going on here?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can tell. I actually will like judge their food by their wine list too.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. I'm just like,
this is going to suck.
Yeah. I'm just like, we'll see how this is, But
you get the wine list, you go, the food's going to suck. I'm not going to eat here.
Yeah. I'm not going to name certain producers, but if I see them on a list, I'm just like, yeah, we'll see what kind of glass I get too. Yeah.
The pour.
Yeah.
Actually, I was telling somebody the other day, they couldn't believe this story. Because I forgot where we were at, but we got two different pour levels,
Oh, okay.
And so they weren't off by a lot, but you could tell they were different.
Yeah.
And I explained to them how at Houston's, for instance, a big change, they have this clear plastic block that they tilt up, pour to the line, and tilt it down again.
Oh, okay.
I've watched it many times.
Interesting.
And that way everybody gets the same pour.
They're great about being consistent.
Right, and that's important, right? So you walk into this restaurant, you see the list, and I do the same thing. And you can immediately tell if the value is there. You can immediately tell if there's been passion in making the list.
Absolutely.
Right? But when you go to the market And you were talking about reviewing Trader Joe's wines. Are you reviewing the things at Ralph's and Safeway and Vons and Kroger and all that?
I have, but I do find it a little bit more difficult to find like high quality wines at that value.
Yes.
Pavilions surprised me, at least when I used to live in Santa Monica. That Pavilions was actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But it's rare. Ralph's a hard one.
Well, I took a picture last week. The last thing I did on Instagram, which I don't do enough, was this shelf that every single bottle had a shelf talker, whether it was a price shelf talker or a point shelf talker.
Oh,
and
really?
I just posted like, how do you decide? I've tasted a lot of it, not all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't make a decision unless I know.
Oh yeah.
If I tasted it, what do you tell your followers about things like that?
I've given them the advice to look at importers.
Mm-hmm.
Because that, for me, I don't know everything about wine. I don't know every wine bottle out there, but I will check the back and see who the importer is. And there's like my go-tos where Skurnik, probably gonna be pretty solid.
Right.
Kermit Lynch.
That's a good point.
Gonna be solid, right?
That's a really good point, actually.
Yeah, I think it's a great trick. I wish that video had gone more views, because if more people knew about it, I think it would help them a lot.
Well, you'd have to understand this, the importers, but certainly Duclos, Skurnik, Atherton in San Francisco with Burgundies. I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
I went for the first time ever. A place called H. Mercer had a tasting. They've been in all over Los Angeles. The wines have always been really solid over the years, but they never had a trade tasting.
Oh, interesting.
And so I went. It was 2 weeks ago, and just re-solidified my opinion of they just know how to buy. Mm-hmm. And I think an importer has to have that capability.
Absolutely.
And for the listeners that don't understand this, if a wine is imported and you want somebody to get it for you, like me, that you tasted somewhere in New York, whatever, the only piece of information on the back label of a bottle of wine, if it's imported, has to be accurate, is the importation statement. Mm-hmm. Who brought it in? It has to be a real company. It can't be an LLC of an LLC of an LLC like many brands are. You must put the actual person who's licensed to bring the wine in, and that helps me find it.
Yeah.
People will send me the front label. I go, I can't find it.
Mm-hmm.
But send me that back label, I'll find it for you.
Exactly, because you can check their portfolio out.
So, you walk into the market. Now, I have noticed in LA, maybe you have too, that some markets do have, some kind of curation. Mm-hmm. Maybe the Vons in Santa Monica was like that, or wherever you were.
The Pavilions. It was, yeah. I was like, okay, this isn't, yeah.
Did you know the store manager by chance, or
I didn't.
Or the woman in charge of the guy? There was a woman in charge of the Hermosa Beach Vons,
oh,
and
okay.
she was. I tried to hire her.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She clearly had the passion.
That's great.
To do it right.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of what you're saying, though, which is kind of interesting because you're a digital marketeer, so to speak, is that, man, we should get back to that interchange, that exchange with a human being on what's in this bottle.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what you're providing online by tasting these things and showing them.
Yeah, but I think to piggyback on that too, I think what could be really beneficial is if the customers knew questions to ask, right? Also, to ensure that they have a great bottle. I'm working on a post where I can really get that message. But I think, walk into a wine store, you could just say, what are you guys drinking right now that you're really excited about? Mm-hmm. And I think you'll get something pretty fun. I think also, though, a lot of people get scared to leave their comfort zone. And that's what and I don't blame them, that's their hard-earned money. They don't want to lose, they don't want to spend it and then have a bottle of wine they don't like. But they could also tell the wine store, I like dry wines. I like high acid. But again, it's how do we educate them to even know that kind of
what
thing?
The question is, right?
No,
it's a very tough thing, and it's a very emotional thing.
Yeah.
Right? Buying wine is an emotional experience.
And, absolutely.
And I think you now would agree, and this is what you propose, is that dollar signs don't change anything.
Yeah.
So does anybody ever ask you, oh, is it really worth, a bottle of Opus for $400? Is it that much better than a, $100 bottle of wine? You get that question all the time?
I've gotten that question, yeah. I won't answer it.
Well, and everybody gets it. We always get, what's your favorite wine? Is it really worth, is a bottle of DRC worth $7,000 and you can buy a nice Burgundy for $500 or whatever the difference is. And what's, what do you have in your own cellar? I get that all the time too.
I would imagine, yeah.
So, which I never collected anything.
Really?
I'll tell you something, since you're an influencer.
Yeah.
I had 30,000 bottles here, 300,000 bottles at any given time, 30,000 cases.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I didn't need a cellar.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right?
That's true.
Just take it home.
Yeah.
Well, now I do, because all the stuff I collected during COVID, I needed a store. And I realized this mentality of a collector, which is, gee, if I open this, I don't have it anymore. So,
exactly.
It's
got to be patient.
It's kind of scary. I'm like, oh my God, I don't got this bottle of wine anymore. What are you going to do?
Yeah. Could be worth the wait, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you talk about collecting through your medium?
I actually did one time on TikTok and it went viral. I was just saying how you could actually make a lot of money collecting, but I didn't actually know as much as I should have.
Yeah.
So I don't like to talk about something if I don't, know a lot about it.
How much do you think that happens in the world of digital social marketing? I'm not asking you to talk from experience now. I'm just saying.
No. In general,
how many people?
No, I think it happens a lot.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
There's a couple of movements now. We'll talk about them that just make my skin crawl, because I'm an old guy and I've been in this business a long time, and I have this very romantic view of wine. But this whole conversation about the innovation of wine, and we need to speak a new language, and I'm looking at who is saying this, and I'm going, you haven't done anything in this industry to even know this information, to even make a mistake to understand.
Yeah.
Do you either here nor there how you agree with me or not, but I'm trying to understand, what does that mean, change the language of wine?
I was reading about that too. I think it's interesting. And I feel like it pertains a lot to people who love those natural, low intervention wines.
Okay.
Like they don't like to call, apparently this is what I read, they don't like to call wines, high acidity. They want to call it maybe crunchy, or they just like have certain words that it's almost like they're just reserved for the natural wines. And
okay, I'll buy that.
Yeah.
Because Gary Vee back in the day, and by the way, I was making videos before he was. He's just way more successful at it than I am. He's talking about, it tastes like, he's using more contemporary terms like Fruit Loops. Well, let's just take your example, crunchy, the acid. It still doesn't matter, and because I don't agree with this change the language of wine, because what are you going to change it to that your interpretation of, if I say now it's got bright acidity, that may mean nothing to you because we're on different pages, and you tell me, no, it's crunchy, and we're talking about the same thing.
Exactly.
So it's really, if you change the terms, somebody has to readjust to learn what that term means.
That's true.
I think that's what wine is. Wine is this sort of never-ending conversation about what's in it.
Exactly.
Do you think that's the intimidating factor?
I think so. I mean, I feel like it's just, because of how much it's always changing, it's probably like hard for people I know it's hard for me to keep up, especially since I'm not working in the hospitality industry anymore, Yeah.
But you're like, I have a friend today. She said today, she goes, give me some Austin Hope. Well, she knows what Austin Hope's going to taste like, right?
Yeah.
This big fruit bomb, low acid, whatever.
Yeah.
So at least she knows what she wants. And it's like a call drink, right?
Yeah.
I'm calling my wine. I want Austin Hope.
Yep.
If I take her Camus, she'd probably love it. If I take her Steven Silver Oak, if I take her something like that genre,
Definitely.
she'd love it. If I take her a structured Bordeaux, she may not like it as much, right?
Yeah.
But she knows what she likes. But she is not a candidate to go off and learn all this stuff. Have you found that to be like, people just don't necessarily want to learn?
Exactly. I have noticed that a lot.
And that's why they listen to you, I guess.
Well, I think that's why. Yeah, they're just like, just tell me what to buy. When I tell them what to buy, those are the ones that are really successful. I have used trending sounds where I'll teach about wine in that way, and those have also resonated well with a lot of people. But I've noticed if I try talking to the camera about it, it's hard not to make it sound dry, you know?
It is hard.
I'm always working on that, but
I don't know that there's a solution like,
Yeah.
One of the great critics of the day was Michael Broadbent. I know his son well, Bartholomew. And I called him once because now we're on a 100-point system. And back then, my dad used a 3-point system. And Michael Broadbent uses a 5-point system.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of asked him, I said, what would your dad think of this stuff? Because he thinks it's a waste. Like, well, because it really isn't a 100-point system. It's really like a 20-point system.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to talk about your wine if you got a 79.
That's true. Yeah.
So do you have people that follow you that talk about those things, the point system?
I have. And that's also where like a lot of inspiration for my videos will come from. Someone had commented that and I was just like, I don't care about points and you guys shouldn't either. And so I did a video on that.
And what did you say in this video?
Just like it was using it was using a trending sound, which was why like it was easy to get that message across and not come off as dry or even like rude, I guess. But I was just like, just ignore it, you know? Like this is one person's opinion on the wine. So
that's another way to look at it.
I got no sommelier cares about points.
No. Well, if you're a shelf talker retailer that doesn't have a hand sell, you put it up there because you wanted to have it up there.
Yeah.
I had this very funny experience with my cousins, my brother-in-law's brother-in-law, and he made a wine. Long story short, but he won a gold. He won a medal.
Yeah,
it wasn't gold or silver. Mm-hmm. And he was running around town like, I got this silver medal, and he realized it didn't mean crap. Didn't do a thing for his sales. It didn't. No one really cared.
Okay, yeah.
It's like just he's trying to sell the stuff wholesale, and they don't care about the points as much as like, how are you on the street selling this wine for me? So when they walk in the store, they see it and they want to buy it. Mm-hmm. The little silver deal.
Was this recent?
Yes.
Because it used to not be like that.
Yeah.
I remember because I sold wine for a little bit. Not for me, but they would ask me in New York, oh, how many points does it have? How many medals did it get? I was like, all right, this was fun. I'm done.
Yeah. No, it's hard work. It's really hard work.
Yeah, shout out to those people because you really have to hustle.
Yeah, you have to hustle.
Yeah.
I did a video. I went to a tasting. I did a video of a gentleman with his red hot tongs opening a bottle of vintage port.
Interesting. Okay.
He's a old friend of mine. He used to run one of the great wine houses here in Los Angeles. And he's got his tux on. And we're at Chinois, Spago's place, or Wolfgang Plus place, and that's all he's doing.
Yeah,
I don't even have trending sound on it. He just is clamping the thing and breaking it off.
It's so different. People are like, "Whoa, what am I looking at?"
4 million views.
I feel like maybe TikTok. I saw that video. Yeah,
but I didn't sell any more wine because of it. But you got the view.
Yeah.
So that's my problem, right?
That's a great point. That's true.
Yeah. So tell me about that relationship between, you think, what's the role of the influencer in this case, in the wine side? What's your job?
I think creating a community is really important. Responding back to people. I haven't been as good as I usually am just because I've just have so much more on my plate.
What are you trying to tell? Yeah, you have your followers, and I'm not sure how the algorithms are working these days, or whether all 120,000 people get to see what you're doing or whatever.
I wish.
The old days.
Yeah,
but
no.
They've changed that. But I mean, what do you consider your role for your clients who are asking you to be an influencer?
Well, okay. With my followers, I feel like my role is their best friend, Som. You know, like, we're good friends. You want to ask me a question? I'm a sommelier kind of thing.
Okay.
But I do know that brands, when they reach out to me, they call me an influencer.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, and what do they ask you to do? And what is their concept? Is like, we need you to get this in front of as many people as possible?
Yeah, they just want me to either talk about their wine, review it. That's it.
Is it mostly wines?
Lately it's been mostly wines.
Not glassware and...
Nope. I would love a glassware brand deal, hint, hint, but I don't reach out either. I don't reach out to people. I just think if they really want to work with me, they'll reach out to me.
They'll reach out to you.
Yeah.
And so you're at home. How do you do that? How do you work at home? I can't do it.
I know. It's not easy. It can get pretty lonely.
I mean, do you have a dog or anything?
Yeah, we have 2 puppies.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're working, and you mentioned earlier off camera that your time is your own, so that's cool. Everybody wants that. But at some point, when you have to sit down, like after we're done with this podcast, I'm going to go home. My wife's not feeling well. I'm going to sit in front of my Big Mac over there. And
Yeah.
I've got a ton of things to do: edit, post, all kinds of work to get the podcast out there. Don't you find it difficult to do it at home? Maybe you got used to
I
it?
think I just got used to it. Yeah. Like that's just been my office for the past 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Like when this went full time.
And nobody bothers you? Like the dogs are coming in, I'm hungry, or your fiance is walking in there?
Well, my fiance works away from home,
Oh, okay,
so
good. Well, that's why it works.
it would be a little difficult. Yeah, because he's always, he's high up and he's always in meetings.
Yeah.
So that would be hard. But
Well, just the reason I brought it up is not only,
Yeah.
it's actually part of business because I'm opening in Monrovia downtown, across from the park, beautiful view, executive suites. I got like 28 little offices.
oh, very cool.
Really nice. It's got a
Yeah.
big kitchen, conference room you can rent. I mean, not rent, but it's free.
Mm-hmm.
So, we know already that there are many people leaving their home and going, this is just too hard. I got to finish the laundry. For me, my wife's like, can you reach the top shelf of the pan over there? I'm trying to cook something.
Yeah.
And I can't have any flow.
So we just bought a house. Hashtag blessed. But
Great. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
It's not easy to do these days.
No. Yeah, we bought it about 3 months ago. And I realized, having a home, owning a house is so much more work than living in an apartment that I actually might need to go to a space like you meant that you're starting up.
You do.
I think so. Because it's true. There's so many distractions. Yeah.
You're going to be going, oh, yeah, this. And the little buzzer goes off in the laundry room,
Yeah.
the dryer, and then the washing machine, dishwasher.
Yeah. The gardener is leaf
It
blowing.
just talks you out of it. That's great.
Yeah. So thank you. I think that was a sign. Yeah.
So what do you think's on the horizon? The conversation I had yesterday with Jessica Kogan, who's one of the most brilliant digital sort of futuristic women in the industry of not only wine, but other beverages. She was at Vintage Wine Estate. She was at Kate Spade. She was at Cameron Hughes.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, what happens today doesn't happen tomorrow. What happens tomorrow is not going to work the next day. So are you focused on just watching these trends, making sure things are, in your court?
I was, but I've noticed I am less and less because I totally agree with her. Everything's always changing. Things are cyclical. So I'm focusing now more on just like, this is what I like. I really hope you guys like it too.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Content.
Exactly. Making sure it's still providing value because I hate those posts when they don't provide value. But again, just like this is true to me. I'm a small EA living in Los Angeles, and
I think the attractiveness of your position is your humility.
Oh, thank you.
Because it's really, I've done a lot of influencers on the show and content creators, and we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
That just aren't humble. And I just think I wouldn't listen to you to save my life, because it's just not interesting. And that takes the interest away when it's about the person and not the subject matter or the people listening.
Yeah.
That's about them and what they're learning and not learning.
Exactly.
I mean, your job, here's what I call it here. The podcast is to inspire, entertain, and educate. Right?
It's wonderful.
And that's it. If we can do that for people, we've done our job, right?
Absolutely.
So when we talk about the word content creator, which has sort of become this waste bucket of anybody that gets in front of a microphone.
Yeah.
But how do you define it?
I think you're a content creator you can call yourself a content creator, but I don't think that you can call that your job unless you are getting brand deals somewhat consistently. But to me, it's funny. I do think that the algorithm's gotten better about not just showing anything where it has to be a little bit more polished, but content creator, someone who's creating videos now, especially because photos seem to have gone to the wayside
already. Yeah.
And
AI, I use it a lot in the podcast world to shorten my cycle. But now they're creating video with AI.
Yeah, it's getting wild. Yeah.
Are you using any of it yet?
No.
Using NI, natural intelligence.
Exactly.
Good.
Yeah.
Because content creator, and it was a buzzword everybody uses, and what I found all my years of digital marketing, we've done it all, by the way. We've used influencers. I've done affiliate marketing. I mailed 33 million emails the last year in business.
Yeah, that's hard.
We made all that content. So I mean, technically, I'm a content creator. Right?
Yeah, you are.
But
this
it's
is
for my
content.
customers. This is
Exactly.
content. But getting this voice as the content creator's first person, I don't think there's any other way to do it except the way you're doing it.
Yeah.
Could you hire somebody to be your content creator?
I could hire someone to help with my content, but no.
Technically.
Exactly.
But not the Lucia part of it.
No, because I show my face, you know.
Well, that would be difficult. Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Lucia. No,
I know. There are content creators who don't, you know.
Yeah.
They show like a coffee mug or something. And anyway, but they could probably have someone take over, but no, I can't. Yeah.
Because I found that my problem was I'll go to the business side of this, selling my company. A lot of the objections I got over the years was, look, this company's about you because I made it about me, right? There's a big picture of me right behind you. Yeah. And so,
very cool.
So, talk about egos. But whenever I ask somebody, for instance, let's just say I hired a Google AdWords specialist or even a Facebook marketer, and they would produce this content, it didn't emote what I wanted it to emote.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
How could they do that?
Exactly.
I mean, how could they do that? Is it possible?
That's a good question.
So are you stuck making content the rest of your careers? Yes, you are.
All right. No. I'm definitely gonna go somewhere from this.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. I mean, my fiance and I, with our friends, have talked about opening a wine bar here in Pasadena.
Could use
you
it.
know, like, who knows? Hopefully one day I get a cooking and wine pairing TV show. That would be awesome. But
well, that's a really good point. You know, you've got all these followers, and I'm pitching a show right now.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and I'll tell you about it. Not here because it'll take too long. But the show, they want to see this other stuff you're doing. So you have a leg up on anybody who's starting out trying to produce a show or be part of that industry. You're not afraid of the camera. You're not afraid of the microphone.
Yeah.
And you can know how to produce content. You have a personality. And so that goes a long way.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a wine bar, huh?
Yeah. One of many things. Yeah. We have big dreams, that's for sure.
Well, you need the dreams.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, what do you get?
Yeah, I think you just need to think anything's possible. Yeah.
My wife thinks I'm nuts because I'm going to acting school.
That's awesome.
Yeah, at 65. So
why not?
I was arguing with the guy, and he said, I was talking to him. I said, well, I'm not really your regular type of client now, am I?
That'll be fun.
But it's a dream.
They're good for you for doing it. You can do it whenever. I mean, I think there was 70-year-olds in when I went to culinary school, and I had so much respect for them.
Yeah. So what you're saying, though, as well as you want to stay in hospitality, this dream of yours includes all your experience going back. Wine bar, restaurant, not a restaurant, I hope, because that just seems like
no.
Murder.
And we won't be running the wine bar. We're going to hire people to do that, but.
Well, let me make this business suggestion to you that that's not the way you're going to start it.
Yeah.
Because if it ain't you, it ain't going to be done right. And I use that colloquially.
I know. And I'm a control freak when it comes to my businesses.
Yeah.
So,
You've got to be your personality. Would you recommend what you're doing to other young people that are in the trade thinking that they're going to make $1 billion as an influencer?
That's a good question. I would, if you're okay with not having a set schedule and not having consistency, because it's not a consistent industry.
Right.
And it can be fickle. Look what's going on with Instagram's algorithm. And it can be stressful, and it can be you second guessing yourself all the time or comparing people. So get prepared for that. And it's a lot of work. People might not think it is, but it is a lot of work.
Do you think that
Especially in
most
the
people,
beginning.
most young, they just see the influencers? They see a famous star on TV who's acting incredible. They don't realize that the back house part of this, sort of to put it in hospitality terms.
Exactly. Yeah.
I have that same conversation about podcasting.
Okay.
They're like, oh, I want to start a podcast. And I go, when you're ready, I'll send you the list of stuff. But it's not, and I'm guessing what you're doing is the same. And I tell it this way, it's not a campaign. In other words, you don't start it and stop it.
No.
It's a commitment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, perfectly said. Yeah, you have to be committed. And you have to be ready for the ups and downs, because there's going to be a lot. Yeah.
Would you be doing it without the endorsements?
Without them?
Yeah.
I would, but I don't think I would have it be full time.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
But the passion of doing it is.
I do love making the videos, and I do love sharing it, and it's like, even when I'll like wake up one day and be like, I don't really want to do another Trader Joe's video, I think about all the followers that love them so much. And I posted one recently about Trader Joe's wines to get for your wedding, because not everyone can go get DRC or,
right.
Very
no
nice.
One can, really.
Yeah, well, that's true too. But yeah, just like really expensive bottles. And I was like, and people loved that, and I'm just like, all right, I did white for them. I've done sparkling. I'm going to do red. And then that'll be it for the wine videos.
There's a guy in England
ones.
called the Wine Wally, and Wally being a colloquial term in English, the English of a, numbskull, lame brain kind of guy. And he does exactly what you're saying. He goes to the local markets and he buys stuff up and tastes it. I think that's very important for people.
Yeah.
But, at some point when Charles Shaw came out, 2004, I think it was, that was the wedding wine. People thought there was a badge of honor to pour a $2.49 wine at your wedding because it was so popular.
Okay.
Now it sucks. It always has sucked, really. But for the listeners, when Trader Joe's bought the term Charles Shaw, because there was a Charles Shaw winery, and I tasted the wine many times, there was a huge glut of wine in 2004. Huge.
Yeah.
People didn't even pick. There were so much grape to have.
Yeah.
And that they really did get good juice, from that. But that's now changed.
No. No longer.
But what a great service, to do that. You don't do that with some other, like Whole Foods, which they're good buyers too?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I've done it with Whole Foods. It is hard to get the same price point as Trader Joe's, but I've done, these are great wines at $20 at Whole Foods. They don't get as many views, I think, because
that's so interesting.
I just don't think as many people can want to spend $20 on a bottle of wine. Yeah.
Well, particularly at a wedding.
Or maybe my followers don't, but yeah.
How do you think I felt?
It would add up at a wedding. Yeah. It's just an expensive world we live in now.
How do you think I felt when my 3 daughters got married? And what are they expecting from me when I come to have them? I mean, I could pour the regular stuff.
No. You got to hook them up. Yeah.
Cost you a fortune. Because the reason I asked that question is Trader Joe's, when it started, Joe Cologne, it was really about the odd lots. And they really don't exist like they used to. This company was founded in 1972, but as a mail order company in 1984, it really was founded on the idea that there are so many parcels of wine, pallets, let's call them, that are there unsold for a million different reasons, least of which was his quality. And we could take advantage of that. And Joe Cologne at Trader Joe's did that as well.
Okay. Yep.
But to your benefit now, much of that inventory is static.
Yes.
You can get this. You can go to any Trader Joe's and get Black Diamond, what is it, or Hacienda or whatever. Wine's there.
They don't change their inventory.
No.
Too often.
And it used to be that was the staple of their inventory.
Okay.
The Fearless Flyer would come out and it would say, "We have 2,000 bottles and there's 25 stores and that's all there is." I mean, I went to a doctor's house to appraise. He had passed away, unfortunately. I was appraising his cellar, which was worthless.
Really?
In Arcadia, because it had been in the horrible conditions.
Oh no.
Yeah. So, but there was Petrus there from Trader Joe's.
What? Really?
It was $19.95.
Wow. Can't say I've ever seen that at Trader Joe's.
No.
No.
Can you imagine that though?
No, I can't.
But maybe you are reviewing the things that are gonna be like that in the future.
I love that idea. Yeah, that's true.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
I know. I wish they did things with influencers, but it doesn't seem like they do.
How is that general reception? Like, do people call you and say, well, we're looking for an influencer. We've never done business with an influencer before. What does it do? And then there's that commercial on TV now where it's like, no, it's on TV, it's on Facebook or Instagram or something, where it's a guy looking in the mirror and saying, yeah, I'm worth $3,000 for every time you mention my name. And the guy's $3,000. It's the same the same guy. Mm-hmm. You're only worth $300.
Yeah.
Do you have first timers that are coming to you saying, gee, how does this work?
Not anymore. It was like that before.
Really?
But I think just because of my following, I just get brands that have already worked with influencers before, and they just know how it goes.
And they give you they say do it for a week, do it for a month, or is it a time specific thing usually?
It just depends. I would think what they like to do is see how it goes the first time, and then if it's successful, they'll like reach out again. Like a company did that I worked with last year, reached out to me, and they now want me to post every month for them. So it just kind of works out like that.
Well, that's great.
Yeah,
and it's a wine.
It's wine.
They're wine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think a solid product like glassware.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Corkscrews.
Yeah.
Riedel.
I was about to say, yep. Wouldn't mind working with them.
And there's new glasses around, and I've just ordered some for here that I really liked. Unfortunately, they're retail about $50.
Okay.
It's a little steep.
Were they Spiegel?
No. They were start with an A, but they're not crystal. They're glass. They're hand-blown glass,
okay.
not hand-blown crystal. So they're a little stronger, not so brittle. And I just like the way they feel,
Yeah.
So I mean, when you're tasting wine, does your fiance like wine?
He loves wine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you like fancy wines?
Yeah, we like both
Okay.
like to splurge, yeah.
So here's an interesting thing. I went to Napa and I was doing a podcast with Jean-Charles Boisset, and he has a whole product line of glassware through Baccarat called Passion. Mm. And, Baccarat's heavy duty stuff, right? This glass, I mean, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Engineered for the lip and all the stuff to maximize the sensual part of the wine.
Yeah.
But then you talk to a Max Riedel, and man, the thinner the better, and the lighter, the cooler, the neatest.
That's what we've been taught.
So when you're going through school and things, that's so tactically they're completely different.
Yeah.
But for me, they were both extraordinary experiences.
And I believe that too, honestly. I think again, like wine, just as wine is subjective, you might enjoy drinking a wine,
that's a good point.
I mean, for like silly, like natural wines or like table wines, I like to drink them out of cute little cups, like my cute little vintage glasses or something. I don't even care about that, honestly, because to me, it's table wine. So, and sometimes I find it more pleasurable and enjoyable when what I'm drinking out of is really cute. And I don't think that like...
Well, it's an interesting thought.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that like these, high-end wine companies could work a little bit more on their aesthetics.
Do you think that's part of the? You think that's part of the aristocracy of wine? Is like, well, you have to have this fancy glass. And all that stuff?
I think so.
Like people swirl and sniff. I went to a wine event once with one of my best friends. He still is my best friend, even after this comment. And
yeah.
But we were tasting Cabernets, and he goes, I think what you guys say is bullshit. I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, you say this, you smell it. I go, all right. I go, you have two Cabernets in front of you. They're both the same vintage, different vineyards, same winemaker. I go, are they different? He said, yeah. I go, why? He goes, they taste different. I go, okay.
Yeah.
So you're part of the BS too now.
Yeah. It's that simple.
But the glass does make a difference.
It does, yeah.
So I wonder why natural wine for you is like quote unquote natural. It doesn't really exist.
Yeah, that's why I put air quotes. But
you can put it in an old fashioned glass or
it just depends though
tumbler.
too, and it would also just be for like a not natural wine, that's like a table wine. For me, I love the table wines in those glasses. They're they're juicy, they're quaffable, they're just easy drinkers. Like I don't need to put them in my Zalto. You
You're
know,
not swirling and sniffing it, and
I'll swirl and sniff it for
What-
sure, but and like not like cups, you know, but like I have these. I love like the wine glasses from the 40s. You know, they just
Yeah.
make me happy.
those are really fun.
Yeah. So, for example,
That's
drink out of
nostalgic. That's
those.
kind of fun.
Oh yeah, I love going to thrift stores. That's like one of my favorite things. And
Yeah.
antique, and I grew up going to antique stores with my parents.
I'm a junkie,
Yeah, it's just the best.
complete
yeah.
junkie.
Yeah.
I've been on a lamp yesterday. Thank God I didn't get it. 'Cause my wife would have freaked.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it can get dangerous. Yeah.
Well, since you're in Altadena, I'm going to turn you on to something.
Okay.
And
yeah.
you're going to like thank me, and your fiance is going to hate me. It's called RL Spear, RLSPEAR.com.
Okay.
And they are an auction house in Glendale, right off of Western Avenue. You must inspect because you're bound to buy something you didn't want.
Mm-hmm.
And they auction mostly prop house overruns and stuff.
Oh.
So
okay.
there's a bunch of movies made.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, you will find stuff that you've seen in a movie. Mm-hmm. But if there's a kitchen show, like a few months ago, they disposed of all of the assets of a baking show.
Oh wow.
I mean, most incredible cookware,
I bet.
shelves of it,
That's amazing.
pennies on the dollar. Okay.
Okay,
When there's
wow.
done, I got 7-ply stainless steel cookware, derrière, which is Belgium, unbelievable.
That's
Glassware, you wouldn't believe the glassware they go through.
That's amazing.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
So
Okay. I have to check.
It's
them out.
online, and you got to be careful. You just make sure you don't buy something you don't need. But
Yeah.
well, I can tell you that this studio here, most of it
Mm-hmm.
is from RL Spear. This lighting is all from RL Spear.
Really?
It
Wow.
was pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, because I'm sure
You
this
never
is
know.
very.
Oh, it's really expensive.
Yeah.
Each one of these is like $3,000.
Yeah. Yeah. I would imagine.
So you're going to thank me for this.
Yeah.
You're going to say that was worth the whole trip to go to Monrovia just to learn this. To learn this. So you said maybe next is a wine bar, maybe, but you'd stay in the industry, which is something about the city that gets under your skin. What do you think that is? What is it that makes you like, I can't stand this. I'm going to get into widgets and sell, semiconductors.
What it is about?
What is it that draws you back into doing something else in this industry?
Oh yeah, not staying in hospitality. For me, it was the hours. I really didn't care for
No,
those.
like going next for. They say you want to open a wine bar.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Why
yeah.
wine?
Why wine? Because at the end of the day, that is what I'm most passionate about is
Yeah.
wine and food. And so is my fiance. And then our friends love, one of them is a wine collector, and he's shared some really beautiful bottles with us. And so we just, I don't know. It could be just a nice little fantasy idea, but we talked about it.
Well, yeah, maybe it is, but it's not the idea itself. It's the idea that, I'm done selling
Yeah.
on a daily basis, but I can't see myself doing anything else but staying in this game somehow,
Yeah.
because it's just too interesting. It's
Yeah.
too much history.
Yeah.
You travel a lot?
I would say so. Yeah. Yeah. Especially when I was younger. My parents.
Well, you were in
travel.
You were in Paris.
Yeah, we were in Paris.
September.
Mm-hmm.
Was it a working
French
trip?
Riviera too. No, just to go, and then I got engaged when we were
Oh,
in Antibes. Yeah.
what a nice
Or
guy.
Antibes.
He gets engaged you in France.
Yeah, it was pretty perfect.
Is that why he went?
I just hadn't been. It's crazy to be a sommelier and not go to France.
Yeah, of
So,
course.
and it was really special that I went with him for the first time. Yeah.
Well, that's totally unlike the proposal we just saw in Hermosa Beach. My wife and I, the guy proposed to her and had the barrister come around from the counter and bring the ring to him, and he proposed to her in Starbucks.
A little different.
It's like, what? I should talk. That wasn't so spectacular either. But
Okay, well, now, yeah, I want to hear about how you proposed
yeah,
that.
I can do it on camera. The reason I brought that up is because one of the things about this industry, I was telling this to Angela McCrae of the Association of African American Vintners the other day. You are welcome anywhere in the world, and particularly as an influencer, as long as you make yourself known. There's a camaraderie
Yeah.
in this industry.
That's true.
That we're going to Italy, we're going to Piemonte, we're going to go to Monaco, and then we're going to go to Bordeaux and Paris. Anywhere that I'm taking this group, and moi et mon grand bouche, me and my big mouth, told too many people about this trip. So I had to tell the wineries we got 12 people instead of 8.
That'll be fun, though.
But not a resistance to any of it. Piemonte, Barolo, Barbaresco, Lenghe, and then Monaco's going to the race, and then Bordeaux, Cheval Blanc, Angelouse, Lagrange, Aubailly.
Yeah.
They're like open arms.
Yeah, that is nice.
And you know what? It wasn't because I used to buy a lot. It's because of this. And because of you being an influencer with your activity, you must, as a young person, take advantage of this.
And I don't.
Exactly.
I know. I didn't even tell any wineries who I was when we went.
Do you ever go to trade tastings?
I used to a lot, and I'm gonna like start going a little bit more, but I don't know.
I'm gonna have to light a fire under you here.
Yeah.
Because I mean, this is where the action is, right?
You know what it is? It'd be fun to go with somebody. I don't love going to them alone all the time. You know,
We'll go
especially
together.
with the driving and what was that?
We'll go together.
All right.
I go to
let's
them
do
all
it.
the time.
Okay. All right.
Because it keeps you in front of the business. And
I know.
Be honestly,
That's why I would go.
When I'm in Bordeaux, I'm going to go to, like I said, Angelouse and Cheval Blanc. It's only because I went to the tasting and I ran into the West Coast guy and he's like, hell yeah, you're coming.
Yeah. You're right.
This guy there behind you, my father, and he's probably like 48 in that picture. He was a pro at it. He was a pro at, and this is the 70s, so wine was, this is actually, that picture was before the Judgment of Paris.
Yeah.
But jumped on a plane and went to Napa and went to Schramsberg and went to the event. And then, Jim Barrett was a friend of his and all that stuff. That's why you do this.
I have been too. The thing is, I've been doing it since I first studied about wine when I was like 22. 21, 22 was when I started working in restaurants though and would get invited to these trade shows. So maybe for me, I'm just like, all right.
That's old news.
Maybe a little bit, honestly. Yeah. They're fun. They are fun, but I think...
well, there's a difference.
Yeah.
If you went as a server, just have fun and take your boyfriend or whatever and have a free drink.
Yeah.
But if you go to work...
I was doing that. I did that a lot. You know what it was? I think I just went to every single one last year.
Yeah.
And it was just like, all right.
So recently you've been doing...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah. Like the past 2 years, every single one that I would get invited to, pretty much, I would go to.
Okay, good.
And there are a few that I get really excited about. Like there's one I got invited to. I'm going to go because it's like the up and coming producers, which I like. Again, that's like being part of the loop and knowing what's going on. But, I don't know. Like I got invited to a Chianti one and.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I didn't know that. It's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Okay, yeah.
That's important.
I agree. They are. Yeah.
Because...
But you know what, Paul? I've gotten invited to a lot too this year, and I would have gone to them, but they've all been in Chicago or New York City.
Yeah, that's true too.
I don't know what's going on. They're not like in Los Angeles anymore. So there's that too.
Because I was complaining that they're always on the west side, and I want to drive to the west side, but they're doing a little more downtown a little bit, Melrose too a little bit. And then very rarely are they in Pasadena, but once in a while they are.
Yeah. Oh, I did actually get invited to the Rhone Valley one. I'm going to go to that one in downtown. That's
downtown.
in June, I think. But yeah.
I didn't see that one yet.
You'll see it soon.
Well, the reason I brought it, wow, we're at 60 minutes. Oh my God. Okay.
It went by
I have to wrap
quickly.
this up. The reason I brought it up was just the camaraderie, like I said, in this industry, because of the passion that you have and the passion it takes to do what you do. Because, like you said, it's not easy to do. Content creation is not easy to do. You kind of want to go, do I have to do it tonight? And they're like, yeah, because people are waiting for me to post.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
I have a niece who started a salad dressing company. She's just going to launch.
Yeah, very cool.
And she was complaining to me. She did 24 salads in 24 days, She goes, this is really hard, Uncle Paul, creating content. And that's like 24. But she's launching. Had a little problem with production this last week, but she's going to be launching this kind of a cool salad dressing.
What makes it different?
Well, it's all natural, so to speak. There's no preservatives. It's a single serve pouch.
Oh, okay.
And they're not, it's not Thousand Island French and blue cheese. It's like a tahini-based dressing. It's a pomegranate-based dressing. It's
cool.
a za'atar, which is a Arabic,
I love that. Yeah.
So it's a little bit different
Great.
in its packaging, and it's a huge endeavor, as you already would know. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. Good for her.
Yeah,
that's
amazing. Wish her luck.
Yeah.
So nice to meet you and have you here.
Yeah, you too.
I hope we can do it again.
I would love to. I'm not too far.
No, you're not too far, and I'm serious. When the tastings are up, we can support each other as we're standing there with our glass out.
Yeah, that would be great.
And good luck on what you're doing.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah, you too. Cheers.
Thank you for listening to Wine Talks with Paul Carey. Don't forget to subscribe because there's more great interviews on their way. Folks, have a great time out there in the wine world. Cheers.